Okay, hi. Yes, yes. I was doing my intro. Hi, I'm Crystal. For those of you I don't know, some of you have been to my class before. Thank you for coming. Let's go ahead and start. This is, if you signed up for it, you're probably aware this is a vinyasa class. It's a 30-minute vinyasa class. And we'll go ahead and get started on hands and knees. And here on hands and knees, you want your shoulders right above your wrists. And we can have the tops of the feet flat on the ground, on the mat, so you can uncurl the toes. And why don't we just start to get a little movement in this position. So you can move from side to side. If you want, you can take the hips back, and it may be comfortable if you keep the toes curled, whatever works for you. But let's just start to move around in this posture. It's late in the day, so any organic movement that your body needs right now, go ahead and take time for that. Good. And now we can come back to a neutral table and begin to take some cat-cows. And with an inhale, the belly will drop, the gaze goes up for cow, and exhale, round the back for cat. Inhale, drop the belly, arch for cow, and exhale, rounding the back for cat. And let's do that for a few more breaths, just at the rhythm of your own breathing. Inhaling, the gaze goes up. Exhaling out the nose for cat. And let's take a couple more. And we can come back to neutral table. On an inhale, let's float the right hand up to the sky. Gaze can follow. And then thread that hand, that arm behind left arm, and let the shoulder and cheek meet the mat for thread the needle. You can take the left hand behind the back like you're trying to fit it into your right pocket. Right shoulder, right cheek on the mat. And take a couple breaths here. If you have the fold with the arm, left hand meets the earth. And on an inhale, right arm goes back up to the sky. And slowly bring it back down to the ground. Other side. Let's float the left arm up. Gaze can follow. And slowly thread left arm behind right. Left shoulder, left cheek meets the mat. And again, you can take right arm behind the back, meeting left pocket. And let's settle into this pose here. Tops of feet can be flat on the mat or toes curled. And take some deep breaths in and out the nose. you have the right arm behind the back, let the hand meet the earth. And slowly untangle left arm, float it back up to the sky and back down to the earth. And maybe shake that out. Reach your left leg long behind you. The foot is flexed. Maybe get some movement in the ankle, round one direction and the next. Spine is in line with the hip. Spine is long through the crown. Just point it forward. Get some weight in that left hand and let's take the right arm up. Now we're crossing the midline in this pose. Right arm is facing out. Palm of the hand is to the left. Left leg is long behind you. Foot is flexed. You can have eyes closed or your gaze is to the ground in front of you. But you want to make sure the spine is long, so you don't want to look up and you don't want to tuck the chin. So go ahead and hold this pose, and maybe we bring elbow and knee in for a crunch. Just one crunch, bring it in. Inhale and exhale, let it back out. Take another breath. Let's take one more crunch. Inhale. Back, left leg is long, and bring both limbs down to the earth. And maybe shake that out. On an inhale, let's stretch the right leg out long. Maybe again we move the ankle around in one direction, then the other. Remember to try and keep our spine long. When you're ready, you can again float the left arm up. Palm is now facing the right. Spine is long. Right foot is flexed. Remember to breathe in this balancing pose. And maybe, yogi's choice, we go ahead and take a crunch and bring left elbow to right knee. Crunch it in and take it back out. Hand is open wide, fingers stretched, right foot is flexed. Take another breath and come back in for a crunch. And take it back out. Right foot and left hand again meet the earth, and let's shake it out. Maybe move the hips around again. And in the next couple of breaths, we'll all meet in a downward dog. Coming into this first downward dog, let's start to pedal the feet out. And again, in this pose, heels are reaching toward the earth. They do not have to touch. Just get some movement there, stretching out the calf muscles. Your hands are pushing into the earth, and you should feel all fingertips not clawing at the earth, but gripping it lightly. So you do feel the finger pads, including the thumb, pressing the earth in this upside down V pose. Come back to the neutral downward dog. Look up between the hands, come to the toes, and walk the feet to the front of the mat. And we'll hang here in our ragdoll pose. Maybe you sway from side to side. You can grab opposite elbows. The head is heavy. We're not holding on to the neck.
And we'll just stay here for a couple breaths. Feet again flat on the floor, weight evenly distributed. If you have elbows, go ahead, let them go. And maybe fingertips are grazing the earth, coming down to the ankles and the calf. Let's go ahead and take a halfway lift to flat back. Fingertips find the shins. And exhale, fall forward. Let's take an inhale all the way up. Arms float to the top long. Get long in the torso, long in the arms. And here, maybe right hand grabs left wrist. And we'll take a side bend to the right. And you don't want your left shoulder to fall in. So pull left shoulder back a little bit. Keep the torso in line. Take an inhale, come back to center. Reach long. Left hand grabs right wrist. And let's take a side bend to the left. Maybe you close the eyes, maybe you keep them open. An inhale brings you back to center. We'll take a baby back bend. Take a breath and fall forward all the way back down to the earth. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, arms all the way back up. Standing, get long in the chest, and then hands come to prayer. On an inhale, arms reach up again overhead and fall forward. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. And let's find our way to our mat, bellies on the mat. Tops of feet are flat and your hands can be on the mat close to your rib cage. Elbows are bent. Pull the elbows in. We don't want to fly away. So keep the elbows in tight. And let's peel the chest up for baby cobra. You can go here for baby cobra. Maybe you go a little higher for cobra. And if you want an upward dog, this might be your upward dog, where legs, thighs, elbows are off the ground, okay? That's your choice. So let's all, on an inhale, just lift to baby cobra and exhale back down. On an inhale, back to baby cobra. Exhale, back down. One more time. Inhale to baby cobra or full cobra. Hold, 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 and back down to the earth. Curl the toes. Come to plank. Pulling in the core, again, shoulders over wrists. And push back to downward dog. And take a few breaths here in downward dog. Look forward between the hands. Come to the toes and walk, hop, or float to the top of your mat. Inhale to flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale all the way up, arms are long, and bring the hands back to prayer. Take a couple breaths here in prayer. Inhale back up and fall forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. And find your chaturanga. Chaturanga is when we come to plank. We either go all the way down to the mat for a halfway lift, or you can go halfway down to the mat. If you want to go to up dog, it's your choice. And push back to downward dog. On an inhale, right leg lifts. Open up the hip. Move the hip around. Maybe again move the ankle around. Put the leg back on straight. Take right knee to right elbow. Back behind you. Take another breath. Take right knee over to left elbow. Lift back up. And let right foot come between the hands. And stay here in your low runner's lunge. Take a breath in low runner's lunge. On an inhale, right hand lifts up to the sky, gaze can follow. Take a breath, release the hand, and left foot meets the right at the top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale all the way up. Baby back bend. Fall all the way down. Halfway lift. And take a vinyasa. Come to plank. Find your baby cobra, or up dog. And we'll meet back in downward dog. And take a couple breaths here in downward dog. On an inhale, left leg goes up. Open up the hip. Move left leg around, maybe move ankle around. Then put the left leg back on straight. Bring that left leg to left elbow or left tricep. Take it back behind you. Take the leg over to the right tricep. Lift back behind you. And bring left leg through to meet the hands, or close enough to the hands. Stay in that low runner's lunge. At the left arm, reach up to the sky. Gaze goes up. Take a breath. And arm comes back down. Right leg goes up to meet the left. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward, and let's meet again on the belly. Here, we can take a rest. You can go to child's pose, you can go to table. In child's pose, you can have the legs wide, arms stretched out, or you can have the knees together and arms along the body. And we'll take 4 breaths in this resting pose. And then we'll meet back in downward dog. Okay, when you're ready, you can go back to downward dog from table, or you can go from plank. Again, right leg reaches out behind us. Bring the right leg up front, and we're going to warrior 1. So right leg is in front, left leg is about parallel to 45 degrees at an angle. Arms are straight up, warrior 1. Take some breaths here. You want to make sure that the knee is tracking between that second and third toe
You want to make sure you can see your toes. You don't want your knee to go over that. That left foot, you should have some weight in the left foot and the edge of the left foot so that the whole foot is helping you in this balancing pose. Take another breath here, and arms are back to the mat, and take a vinyasa. Baby cobra or cobra, and flip over the toes to downward dog. On an inhale, left leg is up behind you. Step the left leg through, and now we're warrior one on the left side. Torso is over the left leg. Arms are reaching high. Energy moving through the fingers. That right leg is at a 90-degree or 45-degree angle. Take another breath here in this pose. And hands meet the mat. You can go straight to downward dog if you like, or you can take a vinyasa. Okay, let's add on to that warrior one. So right leg goes up behind you. Bring your right leg to meet the hands. Left foot goes flat. Warrior one. Arms go to a T, legs stay the same for warrior two. And let's reverse the warrior. So flip the front palm. Left hand goes down the side, legs stay the same, and reverse your warrior. Here's reverse warrior. Come back to warrior two. On an inhale, start to straighten the right leg, hinge forward, and fall for right triangle. So here, right hand maybe is on a block, right hand is down the side of the right leg. Left arm, so we're going in two different directions. Left arm is reaching towards the sky. Right arm is reaching down next to your right leg. And gaze can go with the left. If you're more comfortable, you can keep your gaze to the ground. Take a couple breaths here. Start to rebend the knee and come back to your warrior two. Windmill your hands all the way to the mat and take a vinyasa. Come back to downward dog. Left leg is up behind you. Bring the left leg through all the way to the hands, warrior one. Exhale to warrior two. Reverse the warrior. Take a breath here. Right arm is down by left leg. Left arm is reaching up. Maybe you have a little arch in the back. Take another breath back to warrior two. Start to straighten the front leg. Hinge forward for triangle. Pose, right arm is reaching up. Left leg and left arm are next to one another. Gaze can go up or down and settle into this pose. The right foot, you should feel the earth beneath that right foot on the outer edge as well as the inner edge. And take a breath. Come back up to warrior two. Put a bend in your left knee. And windmill hands back to the earth. And take a vinyasa. Very nice. And let's all come to child's pose. Excellent.
Let's take a few breaths in child's pose. And we'll do one more sequence before we find our final resting pose. Take the next couple breaths to find your way standing at the top of the mat. Hands can be down by your side. This is mountain pose. And on an inhale, arms go up. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale to halfway lift. And let's come into chair pose, Utkatasana. Big toes can be touching with space between the heels, or if it's more comfortable, you can take the feet under the hips. We're going to come to a seat position and arms are straight up by the ears. Maybe you sit a little lower in your chair pose. Let's bring the hands to prayer. And let's take a twist to the right, hooking that left elbow onto the right thigh. For a twisted chair pose, take a breath. Arms come back to center. Take an inhale and exhale to the right. Again, hands are in prayer. In our twisted chair pose. Gaze can be over the elbow, over the shoulder. Take another breath here. Inhale the arms back to center, still in chair. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fall forward. And take a vinyasa. Upward dog, back to downward dog, rise to the toes and float, hop or step to the front of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift, exhale, fall forward, and inhale, float the arms all the way up and arms now back by the side. So let's do a couple more balancing poses. We'll start to get heavy in the left leg, and we'll take the right leg into a figure 4 with right ankle resting on the left thigh. And in these poses, it's good to find something steady to look at. When you're ready in the figure 4, you can bring hands to prayer. And now we're going to start to sit a little bit in that figure 4 as far as you can go. If you feel pain in the knee, you do want to stop. Flex the foot. And again, find something steady to look at. And now, while we're curled down, start to remove the ankle. We're going to come into an airplane pose. So if you can, without stepping down, the right leg starts to fly out behind you. You're hinging forward to get that straight spine. Maybe your hands stay at prayer. Maybe they go out like an airplane, or they can come beside you. Whatever suits you for this balancing pose. It's like our warrior 3, or some people call it airplane. Gaze is down, hands are at prayer, arms are out like an airplane. Right leg is lifted, lifted, lifted. Couple more breaths. And let's start to bring it back up and come straight into majorette. Right knee lifts. If you fall out of it, that's okay. Right knee lifts, right foot is flexed, and arms are straight up. A couple breaths here. Nice work.
And let's bring right foot back to the earth. Shake it out, and we'll do the same thing on the left. So start to get heavy in the right foot, lifting that left leg into the figure 4. So left ankle is resting on right thigh. We can flex the foot. Hands come to prayer. And let's start again to move into a seated position. And in this pose, you'll start to feel a stretch in the thigh area, left thigh. Again, hands are at prayer. Go until you reach your edge. And again, you remember we're going to airplane pose or warrior 3. So start to untangle that left leg. Left leg flies out behind you. Start to hinge forward. Flex the left foot. And your hands can stay at prayer. They can go out to the side like an airplane, or they can go down by your sides. Your gaze is at the ground. Again, try and find something steady to look at. The spine is long, crown is reaching forward. I know you start to feel it in the standing leg, but let's try and take a couple more breaths here. And start to hinge back. See if you can take that left leg to majorette. Foot is flexed, arms go up. Take a couple breaths, you got this. Nice. Okay, next breath. Let the leg, arms down. Let's shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Okay. On an inhale, let the hands float back up. Take a baby back bend and fall forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fall forward. And any way you can, let's all find the bottom of our mat, lie back on our backs. Keep the knees bent. We'll do a couple bridge poses before we come into our final resting pose. So feet are flat on the mat, knees are reaching up to the sky, hands, palms flat on the mat, and start to press your feet into the earth and start to raise the sit bones, raise the stomach area, the abdomen. And maybe you start to lift up a little bit on those shoulder blades, and you can work the arms under you, and you can cross the fingers, clench the fist, and if you do that, you should be able to press higher. So press into those glute muscles, feet are pressing into the earth, go a little bit higher, chest is rising, don't forget to breathe. And slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, come out of your bridge pose. Take a breath. Pull your knees in, hug the knees, start to roll from side to side. Let the knees fall to the right, arms out to a T and look left. Take a breath. Pull the knees back in, let them fall to the left. This is our spinal twist. Maybe you look right. Take a couple breaths here. Bring the knees back in. Maybe give them a little squeeze. And you can put the legs out in front of you. Long legs, arms are beside you on the mat. Eyes are closed as we come back to the breath. Maybe you put one hand on the abdomen, one on the chest. Calm our breathing down. And take rest. Feel free to stay in Savasana, but if you have to be going, take an easy curl to one side of your mat. Maybe use your hands as a pillow. As you start to wake up the body, maybe wiggle the toes a little bit. Take a couple breaths here. Use one hand to slowly bring you back up. And let's find the front of our mat. Thank you so much for spending time sharing your practice with me this evening. Have a beautiful night. Namaste.